The following is paid for by Advanced Physical Medicine of Miami.
The information presented in this program is for educational purposes only. It is not intended to diagnose, treat, or cure any condition, illness, or disease. The depiction of successful results from the treatments discussed in this presentation are examples of the possible benefits and do not guarantee results. The decision to start any medical treatment should be made only after discussing all benefits and risks with a healthcare provider.
Welcome to Healthy Dose with Dr. Joe. Are you ready to repair damage to your body? Replace what is depleting to regain your youthful vitality? Regenerate what is now degenerating? Dr. Joseph Gambardella is a doctor of chiropractic medicine and an anti-aging health practitioner diplomat. He was the first doctor in Miami to complete his fellowship training in stem cell therapies. As the owner of Advanced Physical Medicine and Rehab of Miami, he provides patients with the most sophisticated and safest treatments in the market today. Join Dr. Joe for the next half hour and learn about the medical advancements that have helped thousands avoid surgery and pain meds. From stem cells to hormones and everything in between. Get ready to feel empowered. Get ready to regain control and reclaim your life. Now, here's your Healthy Dose with Dr. Joe.
Welcome back to Healthy Dose Radio. I'm your host, Dr. Joe Gambardella with Advanced Physical Medicine and Rehab. You can find out more about us at our website, apmrmiami.com, and by calling the office at 305-598-8788. I'm here today with Rob, our office manager. How you doing, Rob?
I'm doing good, thank you.
And I'm also back with our good friend, Tony Sentmanat. Tony, say it. How do I say it?
Sentmanat.
Sentmanat. Hey, I'm an Italian guy from up north. What do you expect? But Tony, has an amazing background, former military SWAT police officer, now founder of Real World Tactical. Tony, I don't even want to shortchange you. Tell us more about your website, how people find out more about you and the amazing things that you do.
Nowadays, just Google. You Google my name, Tony Sentmanat, or Real World Tactical, and you get a slew of things that comes up.
Hey, Tony, why don't you spell that for the folk?
Okay, absolutely. Sentmanat. Sentmanat. Exactly how it sounds. And then Tony, obviously, like Tony Montana.
So Tony does not look like Tony Montana. For all of you who know, is the exact opposite.
I'm about 100 pounds heavier.
All muscles.
Oh, yeah.
And
and I'm actually Cuban. Tony Montana. Al Pacino isn't Cuban.
That's true.
But last time you were here, Tony, we briefly talked about recovery. All the working out that you do. We were talking during the break here, maybe just to let everyone out there know some of the things that you do throughout the course of the day. You are a social media influencer in terms of working out, tactical training. What does an average day look like for you, whether you're, when you're filming, when you're training? Take us through that.
It depends. I mean, if it's a light day, it's just pretty much eating and recovery, or eating and therapy, and then training in the afternoon or training in the morning. Sometimes if I'm traveling, I'll be traveling, and then my days are all messed up when I travel. It depends on what I'm doing, who I'm training with, whether it's a video shoot, content, if I'm teaching law enforcement, teaching civilians, so I would say on a regular day, it's just training, eating, and therapy.
How many hours a day would you say you spend training on average?
The average day I probably do 3 to 4 hours average. Sometimes I'll break it up into 2 and 2. Sometimes I'll get to the gym at 1 or 2 in the afternoon, and I don't leave till 5. So it just depends.
And do you say you put in the same amount of time in the recovery process as you do in actually training?
I probably put more time in recovery nowadays than training, because when I take my days off, I hop from place to place to go, do I do this to this to this to this. So my whole entire day will be therapy, pretty much. You know
what, Tony, just to put it into context too, your training compared to just about everyone else's training is really like looking at someone that shoots hoops on the weekend and looking at an NBA player. So, I don't want to shortchange you, and I also want to let everyone out there who's listening know that the training that you do is much, much different than the training that the average person would do. So take us through just a little bit of the training. Even on one of your YouTube videos, I've seen you flipping tires that are hundreds of pounds, not just once, but over and over, running up hills with weights on your... tell me about that.
What's hard, I would say the hardest thing about my training, it's a mix. So you're getting both aspects or both spectrums of the fitness world. And then I'm large. I'm a big boy, so I walk around at 240, 250 pounds, and I do things that guys that are 185, 190 pounds do. So that's the hard part. I have to do the jumping, the running, and sprinting, agility work, and all these type of things. When you're bigger, it's a lot harder because you weigh a lot more. So a lot more risk for injury. Now, strength-wise, I do powerlifting, I do bodybuilding. And then now you have trauma-wise, I do mixed martial arts, I do striking, I do ground fighting, I do grappling. So it's just when you're mixing everything together, it's very hard on the body. Your body never gets adjusted to one type of training. Like if you're just a power lifter, you're just doing powerlifting and that's it. Or you're a bodybuilder, you're just doing bodybuilding. Since I do a little bit of everything, my body's always kind of like in shock mode. Where it's like, it never adjusts, it stays the same monotonous, or it has a routine, it never has a routine. So it's hard, and your body, nowadays, about to get to 40, you definitely feel it. In my 20s, could do anything, go out, party, and then still run 10 miles the next day. I didn't even feel it. But nowadays, you have to be smart about what you do, and that's why I do so much therapy, because obviously my body and my physical abilities is my business. So I'm the face of my business, So it's hard. It's very hard to try to maintain both spectrums of the world, and at the same time, then I have to run a business. Yeah. So it's hard. That's hard as well.
So you mentioned, powerlifting. A lot of our powerlifters will see bicep injuries, we'll see shoulder injuries, lower back. Jiu-jitsu, it's the same. The cross training and CrossFit type training. So you have the potential of being injured 3-4 times over because of all these activities that you participate in. What are some of the most common or some of the lingering injuries that you've had, Tony? And then we'll talk about some of the ones that we help treat you with.
God, my lower back always has issues. Obviously, my hips and my lower back, and then I have my shoulders have issues too. So shoulders happens a lot because of the boxing that I do, the striking. It's just a lot of trauma and a lot of repetition, a lot of endurance, stamina on your shoulders. Since I have bigger shoulders, it takes a toll on me. And then I'm a very heavy bencher as well. So those are two opposite spectrums right there. You're a heavy bencher, and then you're a guy that needs to punch 300 times in a session. So that's probably one of my biggest preventive ordeal maintenances that I have to do on a constant basis, that they're always having kind of issues. They're never hurt, but I'm always having like little pains here and there. And then my lower back and my hips always have issues just from all the jumping that I do, from the squatting, from the deadlifting, and then all the fighting and the jiu-jitsu and all that. So it's probably those two. I want to say, what's funny is I don't have any knee issues. Let me knock on wood.
Yep.
I don't have any knee issues. I think all my trauma is transferred all the way to my hips and my lower back. So my knees have always been pretty good. Never had any issues. And I do a lot of jumping, which is kind of funny. I just make sure I try to use the good shoes, Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I guess me and a lot of other guys that I've talked to, powerlifters and all them, they all have lower back issues too, and a lot of the fighters, they always end up with elbow issues, forearm issues, or shoulder issues, just from all the stuff from hitting all the time. And then the guys who kick a lot, they have problems with their hips. Like my buddy Diego, he's a 4-time world champion. He had double hip replacement at the age of like 42.
Wow.
And my buddy, world's greatest powerlifter, the GOAT, Eddie Cohen, double hip replacement as well. And he's a powerlifter. Yeah. So, I mean, those are just the common problems that you're going to come across. It is what it is. Those are the sacrifices that you make to become the best version of yourself, or to become the best you can possibly be. And it's hard. It's not easy because it's painful. It's a constant battle, for yourself and what you want to accomplish. Both things.
And what we want people to understand is that when you are doing anything that's physically taxing on the body, as soon as you get a symptom or as soon as you get a pain, you have to listen to your body. Because we're going to talk about, what do you do once it's broken down and there's an injury, but what do you do to prevent the injuries from happening in the first place? And the first thing to do is you got to get them checked right away. I mean, x-rays, diagnostic testing is absolutely important because it allows us to know what's the best way to treat you. Someone who has lower back pain, the first thing that you want to do is get an x-ray. And you want to find out if that that disc, which provides the flexibility, the lubrication, the structural support to allow you to deadlift and squat comfortably without pain, has been damaged. Yeah. And if it was damaged, you don't
want any herniations or anything like that.
And there's therapies that you can do to fix it. Decompression therapy utilizing lasers can actually reverse a herniated disc. For people who have lower back pain that shoots down into a leg, there is a cure for that. There is a treatment that doesn't involve drugs and it doesn't involve surgery. Yeah. Shoulders are the same thing. When you get that shoulder pain, the shoulder pain is telling you two things. Number one, avoid the activity that's causing pain and let your body heal. If you're young enough, you're going to heal.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's technically impossible.
Yeah. and then, so what do you do when you can't take the time off like you, Tony? I remember...
Like me. I never take the time off.
So you have a whole schedule of things that you do because you really have no off time. As you mentioned, a lot of your time is dedicated to recovery. We're going to specifically speak about adjustments and prolozone therapy that we've utilized to help you recover from lower back and shoulder pain. But take the listener out there, just in terms of taking care of yourself. What else do? You do IV therapy, you do cryo chamber.
Yeah, I do IV therapy once a week usually. I do cryo, spot cryo. I don't do the whole body. So I do where it's either called local cryo or spot cryo, where it's kind of looks like a vacuum tube, and then it pushes nitrogen air into the affected area that you're having pains at. I do that. I do obviously chiropractic work with you. And then with that comes cupping, scraping, decompression,
laser shockwave,
and then the ozone shot or the prolozone shot.
You were in your on season. You were doing some pretty big. You mentioned you're a heavy bencher. I mean, 500-pound bencher. There's not many people walking around the face of the earth that can bench 500 pounds and deadlift 700 pounds. I'm not sure which one it was, but when you came in and you hurt your shoulder, was it a deadlift or a bench?
When I hurt my shoulder that one time, it was actually neither. It was squatting.
It was squatting.
Yeah, because of the bar placement. When I went down, I tweaked my shoulder somehow. I dropped my elbow, and I ended up pulling on the bar, and I guess my shoulder just went to garbage.
So that's when you came in, and we had started doing a lot of work with this prolozone therapy. For the listeners out there that don't know what prolozone is, it is a specialized technique that activates your own body stem cells so your body can heal itself.
Yeah.
And you had that chronic shoulder pain. We did an examination. The shoulder range of motion was limited, but we knew that there wasn't a full thickness tear of any of the rotator cuff muscles. That's very important that we diagnosed you correctly. But when we got you back in there for prolozone therapy, what is essential is that you had this inflammation. So you stopped the workout. You didn't finish through the workout, right?
Yeah. No, the pain was bad. So I just ended up, I stopped squatting. I had already done, we had done ozone shots before that,
yes,
right?
Yes.
I had done ozone shots. Doc, explain exactly what ozone shots is. I know it's O2 with O3 or something like that.
Yep, so ozone is taking medical grade oxygen, running it through an ozone generator, and you wind up with 3 molecules of ozone. It is very unstable. When you inject it into the body, into a joint, or into the surrounding soft tissue, what it does is it neutralizes inflammation that's caused by any type of fungus, virus, bacteria, mold, yeast, number one. It reduces the inflammation in nerve endings, and it activates your own stem cells. By getting ozone or oxygen, once that molecule of oxygen breaks off when it enters the body, you have oxygen within a joint space that normally it doesn't exist. So what happens is your own stem cells flood into the injured area and begin to release these growth factors, which is essentially all the nutrients that your body utilizes to heal. Our friend Dr. Buzz, we had him on last week, makes the analogy that these stem cells are like little pharmacy stores. They know exactly what your body needs. Every chemical, every enzyme is present within these stem cells, and they're released in the exact concentration that your body needs to repair a tendon, to repair a ligament, to repair a disc. So that's what ozone does, and
then prolozone is ozone to the next level.
On
times 10.
That's
times
10. I think they call it prolozone because it's like the pro level of ozone therapy.
Yeah.
And there's 2 different types of prolozone injections. One is an anti-inflammatory, and one is called a proliferative, which means it helps the body regenerate more tissue. But the anti-inflammatory combines ozone with B vitamins, sodium bicarb, dextrose, simple saline. There is a homeopathic anti-inflammatory in there, and all of those things change the permeability of the cell membrane and allow toxins in an injured site to release from the cell and nutrients to get brought in. On top of that, your own stem cells, when they're healthy enough and they're young enough like you are, Tony, come into the injured area, release these growth factors, and your body starts to heal. The best part about Prolozone Therapy is most people are completely treated and or cured within 3 to 5 visits if they're a candidate for that.
Yeah.
So when you
that's
did
what
your,
happened with me. My shoulder. I had never seen any therapy that worked like the Prolozone shot ever. Like literally within 2 days, my shoulder was back to like probably like 90%. And then I know you've been doing this a long time. You know when you get an injury, you know that it's gonna be bad. And it was a pretty bad injury. I knew I would have been out. Without that shot, I would have been out for like 2 weeks. With pains all over my shoulder. And literally like the third day, I was moving it around. I couldn't even lift my shoulder up, probably like less than 7 or 8 inches up off the side of my body. And by the third day, I was like moving around like it wasn't even there. It was perfect.
And what would you have done, before knowing about Prolozone, before knowing us, Tony? If you had pain to that degree, do you think you or someone else would have taken an ibuprofen, an Advil, a Motrin to reduce the inflammation to get rid of some of the pain?
That's all you can do at the end of the day. Or Theragun.
Yeah.
They got the Theragun now, so you put the Theragun on there and that's it. It's just when you see the results that it does and your pain goes away so quickly, you're like in awe.
Yeah, I know that's why you're here. You have such a busy schedule, but just to let everyone out there know that there is something that they could use for chronic pain, for new pain, that doesn't involve drugs, that doesn't involve surgery, and get them back in the game with hardly any downtime.
When I get hurt, like the next day I'm already like getting a shot. Like I don't even I got hurt. All right, I gotta go take the shot. Yeah. I walk in and I'm like, yeah, doc, fix me. Give me the shot. I just need a shot. I don't need nothing else. Give me the shot.
I did it again.
Yeah. So we're gonna be back with Tony right after these messages.
Repair your body. Replace your key hormone levels. Allow your body to regenerate itself without surgery or meds. When it comes to your health, the best plan is preventative. If you wait for symptoms to show, you could be too late. With over 40 years combined clinical experience, all under one conveniently located state-of-the-art facility, Dr. Joe is on the leading edge of regenerative and physical medicine. Take control of your health and get a free consultation and evaluation. Visit us at apmrmiami.com or call 305-598-8788. 305-598-8788.
And we're back with Tony, and we were talking, Tony, about the shoulder and the Prolozone, and also about before knowing us, when you would have an injury, you may have taken an Advil, a Motrin, an ibuprofen. I wanted to explain how that can actually stop your body from healing and turn a new injury into a chronic injury. There's 4 things that are necessary for healing. You have to have inflammation, which you bring enough of that. I mean, you have these injuries. Inflammation is pain that's new pain. It's chronic pain that's been there for more than 3 months. It's degenerative pain that is caused by arthritis. And those are your cells signaling that your body needs to heal. So inflammation is present. You have to have oxygen present. You have to have stem cells, and you have stem cells because you're alive. If you wouldn't, you wouldn't be. And you have to have those stem cells being strong enough to release growth factors. So we typically look at age as being a determinant factor in how your body is able to utilize your own stem cells. When people are 40, 45 and older, typically their stem cells become significantly weaker than they were when they were younger. And oftentimes when you look at an x-ray and degeneration is present, bones are pushed closer together than they normally should be, it tells us that your own stem cells aren't strong enough to help an injury heal. That wasn't the case with you.
Yeah.
So you were young enough, your stem cells were strong enough, but the inflammation was key. When you take anti-inflammatories, you are shutting down your body's ability to heal by itself, because that inflammation is a signal to your own stem cells to move to the site of the injury, to release these growth factors that your body utilizes to heal. And when you take the anti-inflammatory, not only do you shut down your body's ability to heal, but cells die off faster than they can become replaced. And that's the definition of degeneration and arthritis. So there's so many people in their 40s, late 40s and 50s that say, well, I've never had pain before, but they've taken ibuprofens and anti-inflammatories for the better part of 15 years when they've had these aches and pains, and they've stopped their body's warning signals from letting them know that there was an injury that needed to be treated.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's what everybody does. Take a painkiller.
You know? So as technology improves, as we get smarter, you don't train the same way now that you did 10 years ago. There's new advances. I remember you were telling me about this diet that you had started. You were doing a powerlifting diet, but you were getting these terrible headaches, terrible headaches. And all it was an adjustment to your diet that added more potassium, drinking a glass of orange juice in the morning, and it fixed the problem.
Yep.
You didn't take a medication. You didn't take Malax or any of these detrimental, really strong medications that they give for migraine headaches, which if you had gone to a specific type of a doctor, that's maybe what you would have been prescribed.
Yeah, I've always suffered from high blood pressure, even in my early 20s, from the stress and all that, from the military and all that. And early on, I learned that you got to try to take remedies to avoid these prescription-based pills and stuff. So even like that, I learned I would take garlic pills and grapefruit juice. Whenever I get my blood pressure would spike a little bit, take a cup of grapefruit juice and 2 pills of garlic pills every day for a week, and bam, it would go right back down again. And it was an old school doctor that taught me that, actually. He was the one who told me this in the early 2000s, and he's like, I can put you on meds, but the problem is you get on blood pressure meds, you're going to be on them for the rest of your life. So he's like, try this. If it goes down, then you got a fix, And sure enough, within the week, my blood pressure was back to normal. Yeah. So, little things like that will definitely help certain people. And I've recommended that to a couple of people throughout the years. And every single time that I've told them, hey, get on grapefruit juice, get on this, every single person has always told me, bro, my blood pressure is super low. I was able to even get off my meds and blah, 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 blah. It's helped so much. Thank you, So you just never know what's gonna help you. What kind of a remedy is already out there that might help you in regards to whatever pain or whatever issue you have.
And you make an excellent point, and that's why the setup at our office is so conducive to what you're saying, because ours is a physical medicine office. We do have medical doctors, physician assistants, so we're checking blood pressure, we're checking temperatures, we're checking blood work routinely throughout the course of the year to make sure that if it is something that could be handled naturally, it can. But if it's something that is medical in terms of the solution, that we get you to the person that can help you achieve your goals. Physically, how do you feel now that you've been treated with the Prolozone? Your shoulder pain has been better. How do you feel working out nowadays?
I mean, I'm always going to have little pains here and there. It's just, there was somebody there was a meme the other day on Instagram that I saw, and the meme said, show me a person that's never been injured. Show me an athlete that's never been injured, and I'll show you an athlete that's never been a champion.
Yeah.
Like that.
So we have to get better and better with our therapies and treatments, and
it's about making the time. A lot of athletes don't want to. They're stubborn. They don't want to. Or I understand too the money. Some athletes don't have insurance and they don't have the money to be able to afford it. But that's definitely, I learned that probably mid 30s is when I really started realizing, okay, it's better to prevent injuries than to let them happen, and then it's double the money and double the cost,
Yeah.
So nowadays, I treat therapy just as important as I do my training. And you have to. Yeah. You have to be able to 50-50. It's a 50-50.
Yep. The point that you make about being affordable too, a lot of these therapies and treatments that really solve the problem, eliminate the pain by getting your body to heal by itself, they're cash-based services. So they're not covered by insurance. So that means because they're not covered by insurance, the cost is actually lower. Yeah. When things don't run through insurance, costs are lower.
Yeah.
And so we're able to take these services, whether it's laser therapy, shockwave therapy, Prolozone, and make them available to everybody. I think anybody could afford these services because there are programs that we have in the office where they can spread payments over time. But simply the fact is, would you rather spend a couple of $100s and actually fix a problem, or spent weeks or months out of the gym and not be able to do what you love to do, which you make, which you use your body to make your living, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for me, it's a no-brainer. But, some people are just stubborn that way, man. They're like, oh, it'll go away. And then 6 weeks later, they're still at the same pain. Yeah. And then I tell them, I told you so. You should have gone 6 weeks ago. You would have gotten fixed. Yep. A lot of people don't like needles, too. That's a huge deterrence. A lot of people are scared of needles, and I tell them. And then after seeing my story of how big the needle is for my Prolozone shot, ain't nobody want to take that. Like, how do you stick that in your neck? They were like, I was expecting it to come out the other side. And I'm like, that's not the normal needle. That's the needle I have to use for me because I'm just bigger, whatever. And they're like, yeah, right, you liar. So yeah, I go through this, and because I have so many people that ask me every single time that what is that? What is that? What is that? Everybody always wants to know about the therapy. What's new? Does it work? Does it not work? You know, it's probably one of my most answered questions, you know, or asked questions of all time. You know, that and how do I do what you do?
Yeah,
are the two most.
Well, you can tell them where to get the treatment. I don't know if they're going to be able to do it.
Yeah, I was just trained for 20 years, and then maybe you could do what I do. You know, so it's took me a while.
Tony, you're a great friend to me, to the office. We love working with you. We're looking forward to working with you in the future. Again, how do people find out more about you, your website?
Right, website's realworld-tactical.com. Instagram is realworld_tactical. Facebook is just Real World Tactical. YouTube, Real World Tactical. And pretty much nowadays, just Google it, and everything comes up. All my channels, all my social media, whole bio on me and everything. So it's I've been in the game for a little while. So the longer you've been in the game, the more information people have about you.
Thanks for being with us, Tony. And if you have neck pain, lower back pain, shoulder pain, call our office at 305-598-8788 and schedule your free consultation. Join me every Wednesday night at 6 and Sunday morning at 9:30 to learn more about stem cells, bioidentical hormone replacement therapy, and physical medicine. And visit our website at apmr.com. Repair, replace, and regenerate. I'm your host, Dr. Joe Gambardella, and I'll see you next time.